Okay, so in this video, I want to show you that the Old Testament was a shadow of things to come. The Old Testament is just a parable of the New Testament. In the Old Testament, we interpret the Old Testament as a parable, as an allegory of the New Testament. We do not go to the Old Testament to read about God. God is declared to us by Jesus Christ. He is made known to us by Jesus Christ. But the Old Testament is a shadow of things to come, is a parable. It preaches about the New Testament as a parable. So here is the first verse, Hebrews chapter 10, verse 1, which says, "For the law, having a shadow of good things to come, and not the very image of the things, can never, with those sacrifices which they offered year by year continually, make the comers thereunto perfect." Do you see that? Paul says that for the law, having a shadow of good things to come, and not the very image of the things. Many Christians are reading the Old Testament and they obtain an image of God from the Old Testament. But the Old Testament is actually a shadow of things to come, just like the law. The law says, "Thou shalt not steal." But actually, when the love of God is spread into my heart, I naturally won't steal, won't kill. I won't worship idols. So the law was a form of love. The law was a shadow of things to come. So here is the law, the Ten Commandments, it's just part of the law. The first law says, "Thou shalt have no other God before me." Do you see that? It also says, "Thou shalt not make unto you any graven image. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain." So the first three laws actually they tell us that we should love God. So Jesus Christ summarizes all these things and say, "Thou shalt love the God thy Lord with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind." Because by loving God, actually you fulfill all these commandments. You can be evil, but yet you can keep these commandments. But when you love God, love is the real thing. Jesus wants us to love God. But the law actually has a shadow of things to come. It's a form of love. You can be evil yet and keep the law. But when the love of God is shed in your heart, naturally you will won't steal, you won't kill, you won't destroy, you won't make any graven images because you love God and you love other people. Thou shalt love your neighbor as you love yourself. So even Colossians chapter 2 verse 16 and 17 says, "Let no man therefore judge you in meat or in drink or in respect of an holy day or of the new moon or of the Sabbath days, which are a shadow of things to come, but the body is of Christ." Remember that we are the members of the body. We are of Christ. The body is of Christ. Keeping the Sabbath day, there are Christians who are still minding the Sabbath days, doing ordinances, uh, doing traditions, religion, following religion than following Christ. We are supposed to follow Christ because the things of old are just a shadow of things to come. They are a parable. They preach the New Testament in a parable. Even Galatians chapter 5 verse 14 says, "For all the law is fulfilled in one word, even in this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself." About love is the real thing. Love is the real thing. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as your own self. Do unto others as you would them to do to you. Love is the real thing. By loving other people, you won't steal, you won't kill, you won't commit adultery with another man's wife, you won't steal another man's goods. Love is the real thing. The Old Testament, the law was just a shadow of things to come. Look what Jesus says in Mark chapter 12, verse 30 and 31. He says, and thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind and with all your strength. This is the first commandment. And the second is like, namely this, you shall love thy neighbor as yourself. There is none other commandment greater than these. Do you see how the commandments are summarized in just two commands? Love God and love other people. Humanity. The love of a human being is humanity, understanding that we live in humanity. We live in charity with other people. We also acknowledge and love God. We put God first, because by loving God, we won't worship idols. We won't worship demons. We won't make graven images. Also, by loving one another, love is the real thing. Unlike the law was a shadow of things to come. It was not the real thing for God, but it prophesied even from the past when salvation was not yet come, when Christ has not yet come. I am the light of the world. He that follows me will never walk in darkness. That is Jesus Christ. Also, 1 Peter chapter 4 verse 8 says, and above all things, have fervent charity among yourselves, for charity shall cover a multitude of sins. Did you see that? Charity shall cover a multitude of sins. Charity is love. Charity is forgiveness, is patience. Also, 1 John 4 verse 12 says, no man has seen God at any time. If we love one another, God dwells in us, and his love is perfected in us. Do you see that? God is unknown. Therefore, if we want to know who God is, let us love one another. So we are seeing that love is the real thing. The Old Testament was just a shadow of things to come, a prophecy, a parable of the New Testament. We interpret the Old Testament as a parable of the New Testament. We don't go and literally obey the commands of Jehovah because they multiplied sin. If there had been a law given that would have given grace, surely the grace should have been by the law. But we are not under the law, we are under grace. Grace is love, is charity, grace is forgiveness. I can be evil and yet I can obey the law. But when the love of God is shed in my heart, I will naturally won't steal. I will not commit adultery with another man's wife. I will not kill. I will not covet other people's goods. The law is a shadow of things to come. It's not the real thing. That is why Jesus in Mark says, you shall love the Lord thy God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind and with all your strength. You shall love. Love is the real thing. He says the second is like, namely this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Jesus, in all these commands, he says, thou shalt love, thou shalt love. There is none other commandment greater than these. Love is the real thing. Jesus Christ manifests love. By loving God and loving other people, you won't do evil things. You will know that I won't steal because actually I love my neighbor. I won't steal because I love God. God does not want me to steal. But yet the law, you can do the law, but you are evil.